The wallet hit the lobby floor at exactly 2:47 a.m., spilling $8,000 in crisp hundreds across the marble like leaves in fall. Sasha Brennan froze, her Uber app still glowing on her cracked phone screen, her Honda Civic idling illegally outside the Peninsula Hotel's entrance. The leather was Hermes. She recognized it from the magazines she'd read while waiting for rides she couldn't afford to take herself. She'd been here to pick up a drunk businessman. Instead, she was staring at more cash than she'd made in 6 months. For 3 full seconds, the entire lobby held its breath. The night concierge looked up from his desk. A security camera blinked red above her head. The businessman who dropped it stumbled into a waiting Mercedes, too drunk to notice his life was lying at a stranger's feet. Sasha should have grabbed it. Should have taken the money and run. Her landlord had threatened eviction twice this month. Her car needed a new transmission that cost $2,400. She was 3 weeks from living in that car. Instead, she knelt down, picked up the wallet, started counting the bills back into place. "Miss?" The concierge was moving toward her now. "Did someone lose?" "Yes." Her voice came out steadier than her hands. "Can you hold this? I need to write something." She pulled a receipt from her pocket, a pen from the hotel desk. Her fingers shook as she wrote 7 words that would change everything. "I didn't take the money, I just want a job." She tucked the note where the cash had been, handed the wallet to the concierge. "Make sure he gets this, please." Then she left before anyone could ask questions. Before she could change her mind. Before desperation could turn her into someone she wasn't. What Sasha didn't know, couldn't have known as she drove away with tears streaming down her face, was that the wallet belonged to Kim Suk-jin. Not some drunk businessman. Not some careless tourist. Kim Suk-jin, the Korean Mafia boss who controlled half of Chicago's underground operations. The man who'd built an empire from nothing after his family lost everything when he was 17. The man who hadn't trusted anyone in 10 years. The man who'd just lost $8,000 and didn't even notice because he was carrying $340,000 in the Mercedes that night. She had no idea he'd review the security footage within hours. That he'd see her count every bill with shaking hands. That at 3:17 a.m., alone in his Gold Coast penthouse, he'd watch that footage 3 times and feel something crack inside his chest. Kim Suk-jin hadn't cried in 10 years. Not since his family lost everything and the world taught him that mercy was weakness. But watching this stranger choose integrity when she had every reason to steal, watching her hands shake as she wrote those 7 words, watching her walk away from survival. A tear slid down his face. Then another. She definitely didn't know about the phone call he'd make at 8 a.m. Or the private investigator who'd deliver a full background check by noon. Or the decision he'd make at 1:47 p.m. while sitting in that same penthouse, watching her drive her beaten Honda through rain-soaked streets, picking up riders for $4.67 per trip. Kim Suk-jin, who'd seen every con, every scheme, every desperate play for money in his violent world, couldn't stop thinking about 7 handwritten words from a woman who had every reason to steal and didn't. 3 days later, Sasha would walk into a restaurant and meet the man whose wallet she'd returned. She'd discover that honesty comes with a price in his world. That choosing right over easy means choosing danger over safety. That returning $8,000 would cost her everything she thought she knew about survival. And she'd learn that Kim Suk-jin doesn't just reward loyalty, he owns it. What happens when a Korean Mafia boss discovers the one person in Chicago who isn't playing a game? When a woman who returned his wallet becomes the only piece on his chessboard he can't predict. When choosing integrity means stepping into a world where mercy is weakness and trust gets you killed. I know you're probably wondering how a simple act of honesty pulls someone into the dangerous world of organized crime. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when Suk-jin realizes that Sasha's honesty isn't just rare, it's the weapon he's been missing. If you're new here, I tell stories about impossible choices, hidden power, and people who refuse to break even when everything is trying to crush them. Take 2 seconds to smash that subscribe button and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Your support means everything. Now, let's go back to how this all started, to the moment Sasha walked into that restaurant and realized she'd just made a deal with the devil himself. Sasha's Honda Civic rattled to a stop outside Asador on West Randolph. The valet stood under the awning, his expression shifting from boredom to confusion as she stepped out. She'd returned a wallet 3 days ago. Left it at a hotel concierge desk with a handwritten note tucked inside where $8,000 in crisp hundreds had been. The money had felt obscene in her hands, each bill representing 2 weeks of Uber shifts. But she'd written those 7 words, "I didn't take the money, I just want a job," and walked away before temptation could follow her home. Now someone wanted to meet her. The host glanced at his tablet. "Ms. Brennan." "That's me. This way." He led her past tables where couples leaned close over wine glasses, past a bar where crystal clinked against marble. The restaurant smelled like charred meat and old money. Sasha's jacket, a thrift store find with a broken zipper, suddenly felt thin. The private dining room sat at the back. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the Chicago River. One man occupied the space. He didn't stand when she entered. Kim Suk-jin sat with his back to the window, his suit so dark it seemed to absorb light. His fingers rested against a whiskey glass. No rings. No watch. Just perfectly manicured nails that had never changed a tire or scrubbed a floor. His face held the kind of stillness that made Sasha's pulse quicken, not from attraction, but from recognition. She'd seen that look before, in the eyes of men who'd decided someone's worth in seconds. "Sit." His voice carried no accent, but something in the cadence felt foreign. Sasha pulled out the chair across from him. The leather creaked. "You returned my wallet." "Not a question." "Yes." "Why?" She met his gaze. His eyes were dark, unreadable. "Because it wasn't mine." "You needed money." He tilted his head slightly. "Your car has 240,000 miles. Your phone screen is cracked. You're wearing shoes with holes in them." Heat crawled up her neck. She pressed her feet flat against the floor. "I needed money," she agreed. "I still do. But you wrote a note instead of taking it." "I wanted a job. Not a theft charge." Something flickered across his face, amusement, maybe, or calculation. He lifted the whiskey glass, took a slow sip. Set it down with deliberate precision. "What makes you think I have a job to offer?" "You asked me here." Sasha's throat felt tight, but she kept her voice steady. "People don't invite strangers to places like this without a reason." Suk-jin leaned back. The chair didn't make a sound. "You're direct." "I'm broke. I don't have time for games." "Everyone has time for games, Miss Brennan." He reached into his jacket, pulled out a business card. Slid it across the table. "The question is whether you know which ones you're playing." Sasha picked up the card. Heavy stock. Embossed lettering. Kim Suk-jin. Private acquisitions. No phone number. No address. "What kind of acquisitions?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "The kind that require discretion." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one you're getting tonight." He stood, buttoning his suit jacket with practiced ease. "Be at this address tomorrow. 2 p.m. Don't be late." He placed a second card on the table. This one had an address in Gold Coast. "What if I don't show up?" Suk-jin paused at the door. Looked back over his shoulder. "Then you'll keep driving your Uber until the transmission fails." His gaze dropped to her worn shoes, then back to her face. "And we both know that's coming soon." The door closed behind him with a soft click. Sasha sat alone in the private room, the business cards burning against her palm, wondering what kind of job required a meeting in a penthouse and what price she'd just agreed to pay. Sasha's Honda Civic rattled to a stop outside Asador on West Randolph. The valet stood under the awning, his expression shifting from boredom to confusion as she stepped out. Her sneakers squeaked against the wet pavement. February rain had turned the sidewalk into a mirror, reflecting the restaurant's warm interior lights. She'd returned a wallet 3 days ago. Left it at a hotel concierge desk with a handwritten note tucked inside where $8,000 in crisp hundreds had been. The money had felt obscene in her hands, each bill representing 2 weeks of Uber shifts. But she'd written those 7 words, "I didn't take the money, I just want a job," and walked away before temptation could follow her home. Now someone wanted to meet her. The host glanced at his tablet. "Miss Brennan." "That's me." "This way." He led her past tables where couples leaned close over wine glasses, past a bar where crystal clinked against marble. The restaurant smelled like charred meat and old money. Sasha's jacket, a thrift store find with a broken zipper, suddenly felt thin. The private dining room sat at the back. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the Chicago River. One man occupied the space. He didn't stand when she entered. Kim Suk-jin sat with his back to the window, his suit so dark it seemed to absorb light. His fingers rested against a whiskey glass. No rings. No watch. Just perfectly manicured nails that had never changed a tire or scrubbed a floor. His face held the kind of stillness that made Sasha's pulse quicken, not from attraction, but from recognition. She'd seen that look before, in the eyes of men who'd decided someone's worth in seconds. "Sit." His voice carried no accent, but something in the cadence felt foreign. Sasha pulled out the chair across from him. The leather creaked. "You returned my wallet." "Not a question." "Yes." "Why?" She met his gaze. His eyes were dark, unreadable. "Because it wasn't mine." "You needed money." He tilted his head slightly. "Your car has 240,000 miles. Your phone screen is cracked. You're wearing shoes with holes in them." Heat crawled up her neck. She pressed her feet flat against the floor. "I needed money," she agreed. "I still do. But you wrote a note instead of taking it." "I wanted a job. Not a theft charge." Something flickered across his face, amusement, maybe, or calculation. He lifted the whiskey glass, took a slow sip. Set it down with deliberate precision. "What makes you think I have a job to offer?" "You asked me here." Sasha's throat felt tight, but she kept her voice steady. "People don't invite strangers to places like this without a reason." Suk-jin leaned back. The chair didn't make a sound. "You're direct." "I'm broke. I don't have time for games." "Everyone has time for games, Miss Brennan." He reached into his jacket, pulled out a business card. Slid it across the table. "The question is whether you know which ones you're playing." Sasha picked up the card. Heavy stock. Embossed lettering. Kim Suk-jin. Private acquisitions. No phone number. No address. "What kind of acquisitions?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "The kind that require discretion." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one you're getting tonight." He stood, buttoning his suit jacket with practiced ease. "Be at this address tomorrow. 2 p.m. Don't be late." He placed a second card on the table. This one had an address in Gold Coast. "What if I don't show up?" Suk-jin paused at the door. Looked back over his shoulder. "Then you'll keep driving your Uber until the transmission fails." His gaze dropped to her worn shoes, then back to her face. "And we both know that's coming soon." The door closed behind him with a soft click. Sasha sat alone in the private room, the business cards burning against her palm, wondering what kind of job required a meeting in a penthouse and what price she'd just agreed to pay. The Gold Coast address led to a building Sasha had driven past 100 times but never entered. Black glass and steel climbed 40 stories into the gray afternoon sky. A doorman in a pressed uniform opened the heavy door before she could reach for the handle. "Ms. Brennan. Mr. Kim is expecting you." She didn't ask how he knew her name. The elevator had mirrors on 3 walls. Sasha watched her reflection multiply as the numbers climbed 22, 31, 38. Her jeans were clean but faded. Her jacket still had that broken zipper. She'd worn her best shirt, a navy button-down that didn't quite hide the fraying collar. The doors opened directly into a penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows wrapped around the space, offering a view of Lake Michigan that probably cost more per month than Sasha made in a year. The furniture was minimal, black leather, chrome, glass. Nothing soft. Nothing warm. Suk-jin stood at the window, phone pressed to his ear. He spoke in rapid Korean, his tone clipped. Sharp. He glanced at Sasha, held up one finger, then turned back to the view. She waited. The penthouse smelled like expensive cologne and furniture polish. A laptop sat open on the glass desk, its screen filled with numbers Sasha couldn't decipher from across the room. Next to it, a folder. Thick. Manila. Sukjin ended the call. Pocketed his phone. You're early. You said don't be late. Most people interpret that as arrive exactly on time. He moved to the desk, gestured to the chair across from it. Sit. Sasha sat. The leather was cold through her jeans. Tell me about Park Minjun. Her stomach dropped. I don't know anyone by that name. He owns a restaurant on Lawrence Avenue. You delivered food there twice last week. Sukjin opened the folder, slid a photo across the desk. Korean barbecue. You picked up orders at 6:47 p.m. on Tuesday and 8:23 p.m. on Friday. The photo showed a middle-aged Korean man in a chef's coat. Sasha had seen him through the kitchen window. Never spoken to him. So Park owes me $340,000. Sukjin's finger tapped the photo once. He's 3 months overdue. I need someone to deliver a message. I'm not a debt collector. You're whatever I need you to be. He leaned back, his expression unchanged. That's the job, Miss Brennan. I give you assignments. You complete them. No questions. That's insane. That's employment. He pulled out a checkbook, uncapped a pen. His handwriting was precise, almost mechanical. He tore off the check, placed it face down on the desk between them. This is your signing bonus. 2 weeks' pay up front. Sasha's hand trembled as she reached for it. Flipped it over. $8,000. The exact amount she hadn't stolen. What kind of message? Her voice came out rougher than intended. Sukjin smiled. It still didn't touch his eyes. The kind that reminds people what happens when they forget their obligations. He pushed a small envelope across the desk. Give this to Park. Make sure he opens it in front of you. Record his reaction. And if he refuses? He won't. Sukjin stood, buttoning his suit jacket. Because you're going to tell him exactly who sent you. Sasha picked up the envelope. It was sealed. Heavy. What's inside? Something that will motivate him. Sukjin walked to the door, opened it. The restaurant closes at 10 p.m. Be there at 10:15. Park will be doing inventory alone. You want me to go tonight? I want you to understand something, Ms. Brennan. He held her gaze, and for the first time, she saw something cold beneath his careful control. The moment you walked into Asador, you entered my world. There's no walking back out. You either move forward or you disappear. The elevator doors opened behind her. Your choice, he said. Sasha stepped into the elevator, the check and envelope clutched in her shaking hand. As the doors slid closed, she saw Sukjin return to his desk, already reaching for his phone, already moving on to whatever came next. The envelope felt heavier than it should. The restaurant's neon sign flickered against the dark street. Park's Korean barbecue in red and white, half the letters already dead. Sasha sat in her car across the street, watching the last customer leave at 10:03 p.m. The lights inside dimmed. One by one, the windows went dark except for the kitchen at the back. She'd deposited the check 2 hours ago. $8,000 sat in her account now, real and impossible at the same time. The envelope sat on her passenger seat. 10:15 p.m. She picked it up. Got out. The front door was locked, but the side entrance stood open exactly as Sukjin had said it would be. Cold air hit her face as she stepped into the narrow hallway. The smell of sesame oil and garlic hung thick. Somewhere in the back, metal clanged against metal. Her phone was already recording in her jacket pocket. Park Minjun stood at a steel prep table, counting inventory on a clipboard. He was smaller than his photo suggested, his chef's coat stained with the day's work. Gray streaked his hair at the temples. He looked tired. Old. He looked up as her shoe scraped against the tile. We're closed. His English carried a heavy accent. I know. Sasha's throat felt tight. I have something for you. From Kim Suk-jin. Park's clipboard clattered to the floor. His face went white. Actually white, like someone had drained the blood right out of him. His hand gripped the edge of the table, knuckles sharp against skin. You need to leave. I can't do that. Sasha held out the envelope. He said you'd understand. I paid him. Last week. I paid. Park's voice climbed higher. 30,000. Cash. I have the receipt. I don't know anything about that. Her hand didn't shake. She kept it steady. I'm just supposed to give you this. Park stared at the envelope like it might explode. 5 seconds. 10. Then he snatched it from her hand, tore it open with shaking fingers. A photograph fell out. Then another. Then 6 more, spreading across the steel table like cards. Park made a sound, something between a gasp and a sob. Sasha couldn't see the photos from where she stood, but she saw Park's face. Saw the moment something inside him broke. He grabbed the edge of the table with both hands, his shoulders heaving. No. No, no, no. What is it? The question came out before Sasha could stop it. Park's head snapped up. His eyes were wet, wild. My daughter. He has pictures of my daughter. His voice cracked. She's 17. She walks home from school every day at 3:30. Through the park on Montrose. Ice flooded Sasha's veins. There's a note, Park whispered, picking up a small card that had fallen with the photos. His hands trembled so hard he could barely read it. It says I have 48 hours to deliver the full amount. $340,000. Or next time it won't be pictures. Sasha took a step back. The phone kept recording in her pocket. I don't have that kind of money. Park looked at her, desperate and pleading. Please. You have to tell him. My restaurant barely breaks even. I can't, I don't. I'll tell him. Sasha's voice sounded far away, hollow. I'll tell him what you said. She turned toward the door. Her legs felt numb. Wait. Park's voice stopped her. You work for him now, don't you? Sasha didn't answer. Then you need to understand something. Park gathered the photos with shaking hands, his face hardening into something cold and certain. Kim Suk-jin doesn't forgive debts. And he doesn't forget faces. His eyes met hers. Including yours. The kitchen suddenly felt smaller. Colder. What does that mean? Park's laugh was bitter, broken. It means you just became as trapped as I am. He pointed at her pocket, at the phone she thought was hidden. And he already knows you're recording this. Sasha's blood turned to ice. Her phone buzzed. Once. Twice. She pulled it out with numb fingers. A text from an unknown number. Good work. Come back to the penthouse. Now. The message was sent at 10:17 p.m., 2 minutes ago. But she hadn't told Suk-jin she was coming here tonight. Hadn't told him when she'd arrive. Hadn't told him about the recording. Her eyes swept the kitchen, searching for cameras, for anything that explained how he knew. Park was already backing away, gathering his things with frantic movements. Get out, he whispered. Before you realize how much worse this can get. Sasha ran. The penthouse elevator felt like a coffin. Sasha watched the numbers climb, her reflection staring back from 3 angles. Her face was pale. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Suk-jin knew. Somehow, he knew everything. The doors opened. He stood at the window again, same position as before. But this time, a laptop sat open on the glass table. Its screen showed 4 different camera angles of Park's kitchen, including one focused directly on where Sasha had been standing. You did well. Suk-jin didn't turn around. You were watching. Not a question. She couldn't make it a question. I'm always watching. He finally faced her, his expression unreadable. Did you think I'd send you alone? Without protection. Protection. The word tasted bitter. You call threatening a man's daughter protection? I call it motivation. He moved to the laptop, closed it with a soft click. Park received $30,000 from his cousin last month. Alone. He spent it on gambling debts instead of paying me. His finger tapped the closed laptop. Bad decision. His daughter is 17. I know. I also know she has a scholarship to Northwestern. I know her mother died of cancer 3 years ago. I know Park promised her he'd quit gambling. Seokjin's voice never changed pitch. I know everything about the people who owe me money, Ms. Brennan. That's why they pay. Sasha's nails dug into her palms. And if he can't? Then he'll find a way. He picked up a remote, pressed a button. The far wall lit up, a massive screen showing a spreadsheet. Names. Amounts. Dates. Hundreds of entries. Everyone finds a way when their family is involved. That's sick. That's business. Seokjin turned to face her fully. You have a problem with my methods? Yes. Every cell in her body screamed yes. But $8,000 sat in her account. And her car needed a new transmission. And her landlord had already threatened eviction twice. I have a problem with threatening kids, she said. Something flickered across his face, surprise maybe. Or calculation. Noted. He pressed another button. The screen changed. But that's not why I called you back. The new image showed a man in his 50s. White. Expensive suit. Standing outside a downtown office building. Richard Voss. Real estate developer. He's been buying properties in Pilsen, flipping them, forcing out long-term residents. Seokjin's jaw tightened. Including a building that houses 12 Korean families. He's doubled their rent. Given them 30 days to vacate. What does that have to do with me? Voss owes me nothing. I have no business reason to stop him. He looked at her directly. But I'm going to. And you're going to help me. Sasha blinked. Why? Because you asked for a job. Not just money. His voice dropped lower. And I'm curious if you meant it. He handed her a folder. Thicker than Park's. Inside, property records, financial statements, photographs of Voss entering and leaving various locations. Time-stamped. Detailed. Voss is holding a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. Private investors. He's planning to announce his next acquisition, a community center on 18th Street. Seokjin's expression hardened. That center runs a food bank. Free medical clinic. ESL classes. It serves over 300 families. You want me to stop the meeting? I want you to destroy his credibility. He pulled out a flash drive, held it between 2 fingers. This contains proof that Voss has been laundering money through his properties. Tax evasion. Fraud. Enough to send him to prison for 20 years. Sasha stared at the drive. Where did you get this? I have resources. He placed it in her hand. The question is whether you have the courage to use them. You could do this yourself. I could. His eyes locked on hers. But I want to see if you're worth keeping around. The flash drive felt cold against her palm. What if I get caught? You won't. Seokjin moved back to the window. Because I'll be there. Watching. Like with Park. Exactly like with Park. He glanced over his shoulder. The difference is, this time you're not threatening anyone. You're saving them. Sasha looked down at the folder. At Richard Voss's smug face staring back from a dozen photos. Why do you care about those families? The question hung in the air. Seokjin's reflection in the window showed nothing. Because I used to be one of them, he finally said. His voice carried something she hadn't heard before, something raw beneath the control. My family came here with nothing. We lived in a building just like the ones Voss wants to destroy. He turned. And when we couldn't pay rent, no one helped us. We were disposable. His eyes met hers. I'm not asking you to be a hero, Ms. Brennan. I'm asking if you want to be useful. Before Sasha could answer, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His entire body went rigid. We have a problem. He looked up at her, and for the first time, she saw something like worry in his eyes. Park just left his restaurant. He's heading toward the bridge on Lawrence Avenue. His jaw clenched. The one that's 60 feet above the Chicago River. Sasha's stomach dropped. No. He took the photos with him. Seokjin was already moving toward the elevator. If he jumps, those pictures connect directly back to me. And you. The elevator doors opened. We have 8 minutes, he said. Move. Seokjin's Mercedes took corners like it was on rails. Sasha gripped the door handle as they flew through a red light at Clark and Lawrence. The speedometer hit 80 in a 30 zone. There. She pointed ahead. Park stood at the bridge railing. His chef's coat glowed white under the streetlights. Even from 100 feet away, Sasha could see his shoulders shaking. Seokjin slammed the brakes. The car stopped 10 feet from the bridge entrance. They both got out. Stay back, Seokjin said. Let me handle this. He doesn't want to talk to you. Sasha was already moving. You're the reason he's up there. I'm the reason he still has a daughter. But Seokjin didn't stop her. The bridge stretched over the river, empty at this hour. Park's hands gripped the cold metal railing. The photos lay scattered at his feet, faces Sasha couldn't see from this angle. Park. Her voice carried across the distance. Don't do this. He turned. His face was streaked with tears, eyes red and swollen. You don't understand. I can't pay him. I can't protect her. I'm useless. You're not. Sasha took 3 steps closer. We can figure something out. There's nothing to figure out. Park laughed, bitter and broken. You saw what he does. You delivered those pictures. You're part of it now. The words hit like a slap. I didn't know what was in the envelope. Would it have mattered? Park's hands tightened on the railing. Would you have refused? Sasha opened her mouth. Closed it. The truth sat heavy in her chest. She wouldn't have. She needed the money too badly. Park saw her silence. Nodded. That's what I thought. Listen to me. Sasha moved closer, her hands raised. Seokjin just told me something. About families he's helping. People being forced out of their homes. He's not just what? A monster. Park's voice rose. He threatened my daughter. My 17-year-old daughter. There's no redemption from that. Behind Sasha, Seokjin stood perfectly still. Watching. Come down from there, Sasha said. Please. I can't. Park's voice cracked. Because I did something. Something worse than gambling away his money. Ice flooded Sasha's veins. What did you do? I told someone about him. Park's hands started shaking. About his operations. His properties. His connections. I thought if I gave them enough information, they'd make him disappear. And my debt would disappear with him. Sasha heard Seokjin's sharp intake of breath behind her. Who did you tell? Seokjin's voice was deadly quiet. Park turned to face him fully. The Volkov brothers. Russian syndicate out of Brighton Beach. They've been trying to move into Chicago for 2 years. His laugh was almost hysterical. I gave them everything. Locations. Names. Schedules. Bank accounts. Everything. When? Seokjin's hand moved to his jacket. 3 hours ago. Right after your girl left my restaurant. Park's eyes were wild now, desperate. They're coming for you tonight. Midnight. They know you'll be at the warehouse on Cicero Avenue. They know you'll be alone. Seokjin pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen. His jaw clenched. My men aren't responding. That's because they're already dead. Park's voice went flat. The Volkovs moved early. Started hitting your locations at 10:30. Your warehouse. Your clubs. Your safe houses. He looked directly at Sasha. Everyone who works for him. Everyone he trusts. They're eliminating all of it. Sasha's phone buzzed. She pulled it out with numb fingers. A text from an unknown number. Not Seokjin's. A photo loaded slowly. Her apartment building. Her front door. A man in a black coat standing in her doorway, her landlord, Mrs. Chen, visible through the window behind him, her face frozen in terror. The caption, "We know who you are. We know where you live. You have 1 hour to bring us Kim Suk-jin, or everyone you know disappears." Her hands started shaking. "They're at my apartment." Her voice came out strangled. "They're threatening my landlord." Suk-jin grabbed her phone, studied the image. His face went cold, hard. Dmitry Volkov. He's the enforcer. He looked at Park. "How many men did you tell them I'd have with me?" 6. Park's voice was barely a whisper. "You always travel with 6. I have 12. Suk-jin's fingers flew across his phone again. Still no response. "Had 12. Sirens echoed in the distance. Getting closer. Park's eyes widened. "I didn't call the police." "I know." Suk-jin pocketed his phone, his expression grim. "The Volkovs did. They want me distracted. Scattered." He grabbed Sasha's arm. "We need to leave. Now." "I'm not leaving, Mrs. Chen. Mrs. Chen is already dead if we don't move." His grip tightened. "They're not there to talk. They're there to draw you in." Park laughed from the railing. "You see? Everything he touches turns to poison. Even you." Sasha looked up at him. At this broken man who'd betrayed them both. "Come with us. Help us fix this." "There's no fixing this." Park picked up one of the photos. His daughter's face, smiling and unaware. "But maybe I can still protect her." He stepped backward. Sasha lunged forward. "No." Park fell. The photographs scattered into the wind like snow. Sasha's scream was drowned out by the sirens cresting the hill behind them, red and blue lights flooding the bridge, and Suk-jin's hand dragging her backward toward the car, toward the darkness, toward whatever came next. But before they reached the Mercedes, headlights blazed from both ends of the bridge. 3 black SUVs blocked the exit behind them. 2 more blocked the entrance ahead. Suk-jin's hand went to his jacket. Sasha heard the metallic click of a safety being released. "Stay behind me," he said. The SUV doors opened. Men poured out. 8, 10, 12. All wearing black tactical gear, faces covered. The lead man was massive, 6'5", shoulders like a linebacker. He pulled off his mask. Dmitry Volkov. The same face from the photo on Sasha's phone. Kim Suk-jin. His accent was thick, Russian vowels turning the name into something sharp. "You're smaller than I expected." Suk-jin's hand stayed inside his jacket. "Dmitry. I'd say it's good to see you, but we both know I'd be lying. Always with the jokes." Dmitry took 3 steps forward. His men fanned out, forming a semicircle. "Even when you're about to die." Sasha's heart hammered against her ribs. She counted the men. 14 total. Suk-jin had 1 gun. "Park gave you bad information," Suk-jin said. His voice remained steady. Calm. "I don't use the Cicero warehouse anymore. Haven't in 6 months." Dimitri's smile faltered. "Just for a second." "But you're still here," he said. "Still trapped." "Am I?" Suk-jin pulled his hand from his jacket. No gun. Just his phone. "Tell me, Dmitry. Did you really think I'd come to a bridge in the middle of the night without insurance?" He pressed the screen. Held it up. A video played. Dimitri's face filled the frame, younger, maybe 5 years ago. He was in a basement somewhere, concrete walls, harsh lighting. And he was talking. Speaking Russian into a camera held by someone else. Dimitri's face went white. "That's FSB," Suk-jin said. "Russian Federal Security Service. You were informing on your own organization. Names. Locations. Bank accounts." His smile was cold. "Sound familiar?" "That's fake." But Dimitri's voice wavered. "Is it?" Suk-jin's finger hovered over the screen. "Because I have the original files. And I have contacts in Moscow who would be very interested to know that Dmitry Volkov has been working for Russian intelligence for 7 years. The men behind Dmitry shifted. Hands moved toward weapons. Eyes narrowed. "You're bluffing," Dmitry said. "Try me." Suk-jin's expression didn't change. I press this button, that video gets sent to 15 different people. Your brothers. Your bosses. Your partners. Everyone who trusts you. He paused. How long do you think you'd survive after that? Dimitri's jaw clenched. You don't have 15 people. Park said you lost everyone tonight. Park was wrong about a lot of things. Seokjin gestured behind him, toward the river. Case in point. Dimitri's eyes flickered with something, doubt maybe. Or calculation. What do you want? I want you to leave Chicago. Tonight. Take your men. Go back to Brighton Beach. Forget you ever heard my name. And if I refuse? Then we all die here. Seokjin's thumb moved closer to the screen. But you die first. And you die knowing your brothers will hunt down everyone you ever loved. The silence stretched. 5 seconds. 10. Police sirens were getting closer, maybe 3 blocks away now. Dimitri looked at his men. Back at Seokjin. At the phone in his hand. You're insane, he finally said. I'm alive. Seokjin lowered the phone slightly. Which is more than Park can say. More than your men in Moscow will be able to say if you don't walk away right now. Dimitri's hand curled into a fist. Released. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Seokjin's voice dropped to something dangerous. Because if I ever see you in my city again, I won't negotiate. I'll just press send. Dimitri stared at him for another 3 seconds. Then he turned, barked something in Russian. His men started backing toward the SUVs. But as Dimitri reached his vehicle, he looked back at Sasha. You. His eyes locked on hers. I know your face now. I know where you live. You think you're safe because he protected you tonight. He smiled. He can't protect you forever. The SUVs roared to life. Tires squealed as they pulled away, leaving nothing but the smell of burnt rubber and exhaust. Sasha's legs almost gave out. She grabbed the bridge railing for support. Seokjin pocketed his phone. We need to move before the police arrive. That video. Her voice shook. Was it real? He looked at her. Does it matter? Yes. Then no. He started walking toward the Mercedes. It was 3 years old. FSB already knows about Dimitri. They turned him years ago. He opened the driver's door. But his brothers don't know. And that's what matters. Sasha followed on numb legs. You just bluffed our way out of death. I improvised. He started the engine. Get in. She climbed into the passenger seat. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Mrs. Chin. My landlord. They showed her. I know. Seokjin pulled away from the bridge just as the first police car crested the hill behind them. I'm handling it. How? He didn't answer. Just drove. They'd gone 3 blocks when Sasha's phone buzzed. She grabbed it, expecting another threat. Another photo. Instead, a video call. Unknown number. She looked at Seokjin. He nodded. She answered. The screen showed her apartment. Her living room. Mrs. Chin sat on Sasha's couch, unharmed, holding a cup of tea. 2 men in suits flanked her, not Russian. Korean. Ms. Brennan. Mrs. Chen's voice was shaky but steady. These gentlemen say they work for Mr. Kim. They've been very kind. They're making sure I'm safe. One of the men leaned into frame. We secured the building 20 minutes ago. Volkov's men never made it past the lobby. Relief flooded through Sasha so fast she almost dropped the phone. Thank you, she managed. The man nodded. The call ended. Sasha looked at Seokjin. You knew. Before we even left the bridge, you already had people at my apartment. I told you. I'm always watching. He turned onto Lakeshore Drive, heading south. The question is whether you're starting to understand what that means. It means you use people. Move them like chess pieces. It means I protect what's mine. His eyes met hers briefly. And like it or not, you're mine now. The words should have scared her. Should have made her want to run. Instead, something else stirred. Something darker. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere safe. To regroup. His jaw tightened. Because Park wasn't working alone. Someone else told him to betray me. Someone who knew exactly how to push him over the edge. Who? Sukjin's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His knuckles went white on the steering wheel. We're about to find out. He showed her the screen. A text from an unknown number. Looking for me, Sukjin? I'm at the Richard Voss investor meeting you're so interested in. 2 p.m. tomorrow. Come alone, or I'll make sure those 12 families lose more than their homes. Below the message, a photo. Sukjin's warehouse on Cicero. Burning. Flames reaching 50 feet into the night sky. And standing in front of it, silhouetted against the fire, a woman in an expensive suit, her face hidden by shadows. But Sasha recognized the stance. The posture. Do you know her? She asked. Sukjin's expression was stone. Yes. His voice went hollow. That's my sister. The safe house was a loft in West Loop. Industrial windows, exposed brick, furniture that looked like it cost more than Sasha's car. Sukjin locked 3 separate deadbolts behind them. Your sister. Sasha dropped onto the leather couch. Her whole body ached. You want to explain that? Kim Hannah. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handed her one. She's 2 years older than me. Left the family business 5 years ago. Said she wanted out. His jaw clenched. I let her go. Why would she do this? Because I have something she wants. He downed his whiskey in one swallow. Our father's empire. He's dying. Liver cancer. 6 months, maybe less. And he's leaving everything to me. Sasha took a sip. The whiskey burned. So she's trying to destroy you before he dies. She's trying to prove I'm unfit to lead. Sukjin refilled his glass. Every business I lose. Every man I fail to protect. Every mistake I make, it all goes back to my father. He's watching everything. Where is he? Seoul. In a hospital bed. The family's in Pilsen. Sasha sat forward. The community center. She's using them as bait. Yes. He looked at her. She knows I care. She knows I'll show up to that meeting tomorrow. And when I do, she'll have proof that I'm putting personal feelings above business interests. His smile was bitter. My father's biggest rule, never let emotion cloud judgment. So don't go. I have to. He moved to the window, staring out at the city. Because if I don't, she'll burn that center to the ground with everyone inside. The words hung in the air. Cold. Final. Then we need a plan, Sasha said. There is no we. Sukjin turned. You're done. Tomorrow morning, I'm putting you on a plane. Somewhere far from Chicago. You'll have enough money to start over. No. This isn't a negotiation. You're right. It's not. Sasha stood, legs steadier now. Because I'm not running. Not from your sister. Not from the Volkovs. Not from you. You don't understand what you're saying. I understand perfectly. She moved closer. Your sister set up Park. Used his daughter as leverage. Made him betray you. Then sat back and watched him jump off a bridge. Her voice hardened. She's not just trying to take your empire. She's trying to destroy everything you've built. Everyone who trusts you. Exactly. Which is why you need to leave. And let her win? Sasha's hands curled into fists. I delivered those photos to Park. I watched him break. I watched him fall. That's on me too. You were following orders. So were the Nazis. The words came out sharper than she intended. I made a choice when I took your money. When I walked into that restaurant. When I chose to stay. She met his eyes. I'm making another choice now. Sukjin studied her. 5 seconds. 10. You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. She picked up the folder from earlier, the one with Richard Voss's information. But I'm also the only person your sister doesn't know about. She's been tracking your men. Your operations. Your patterns. Sasha tapped the folder. She doesn't know about me. Something shifted in Sukjin's expression. You want to go to that meeting. I want to finish what we started. Sasha opened the folder, pulled out the flash drive. Voss is dirty. We have proof. And if your sister is working with him, Hannah's development company gets first bid on the land. She'll make millions. Then we expose them both. Sasha held up the flash drive. At the meeting. In front of all those investors. Your sister wants to prove you're emotional? Fine. We prove she's corrupt. It won't be enough to stop her. No, but it'll be enough to make your father question her judgment. Sasha's mind raced, pieces falling into place. You said he's watching everything. What if we make sure he sees exactly who his daughter really is? Sukjin's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His face went pale. What is it? He showed her the screen. A video message. Autoplaying. Kim Hannah appeared. She was in an office, expensive, modern. Behind her, through a window, the burning warehouse was visible. Hello, little brother. Her voice was smooth, cold. I assume you figured it out by now. Park was easy to manipulate. Dimitri was expensive but effective. And you, she smiled. You're exactly where I need you to be. Your men protected her apartment, Hannah continued. But they didn't protect her when she went to get groceries an hour ago. Did they? She moved closer to Mrs. Chen. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to come to that meeting tomorrow. Alone. Unarmed. And you're going to sign over 3 of your properties to Richard Voss. If you don't, Hannah pulled out a knife. Pressed it against Mrs. Chen's throat. I'll kill her. Then I'll kill every single person you've ever tried to protect. The families in Pilsen. The workers at your clubs. Everyone. Mrs. Chen's eyes found the camera. Found Sasha through the screen. Tears streamed down her face. You have 18 hours, Hannah said. The video cut to black. Sasha's glass slipped from her hand. Shattered on the floor. She has Mrs. Chen. Her voice came out broken. She has her because of me. Because I brought you into this. Sukjin's hands clenched into fists. This is my fault. No. Sasha's shock crystallized into something harder. Colder. This is her fault. And we're going to make her pay for it. How? His voice carried desperation she'd never heard before. She has all the leverage. All the power. If I don't show up, Mrs. Chen dies. If I do show up, I lose everything. Then we change the game. Sasha picked up her phone. Dialed a number from memory. Who are you calling? Someone who can help. The line rang twice before connecting. Detective Morrison? It's Sasha Brennan. I need to report a kidnapping. Sukjin's eyes went wide. What are you doing? Something your sister won't see coming. Sasha's voice steadied. She thinks she's playing chess. Moving pieces. Controlling outcomes. She looked at Sukjin. But she forgot one thing. What? I'm not one of your pieces. Sasha turned back to the phone. Detective? I have information about Kim Hannah. And Richard Voss. And about 12 families who are about to lose everything unless you listen to what I have to say. Sukjin grabbed her wrist. You're calling the police. On my sister. On me. I'm calling them on her. Sasha pulled free. You said your father's biggest rule is never let emotion cloud judgment? She held his gaze. Well, here's mine. Never let the bad guys win just because they're willing to play dirty. The detective's voice crackled through the phone. Ms. Brennan? Are you in danger? Not yet. She walked to the window, looked out at the city. But I know someone who is. And I know exactly where she'll be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Behind her, Sukjin's phone buzzed again. He looked at the screen. His face went from pale to gray. Sasha. His voice was hollow. We have another problem. She turned. He showed her the phone. A news alert. Breaking story. Body found in Chicago River identified as Park Min-jae-wen. Police investigating possible homicide. Daughter reported missing. Below it, a photo. Park's daughter. 17 years old. Smiling in her school uniform. And a caption from Hannah, 1 down. How many more before you surrender? Detective Morrison arrived at the loft 40 minutes later. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, wedding ring worn thin. She came alone. Ms. Brennan. She looked at Sukjin. Mr. Kim. Detective. Sukjin remained standing. I assume Sasha explained the situation. She explained that your sister kidnapped an elderly woman and possibly a teenage girl. Morrison pulled out a notepad. That's federal. FBI jurisdiction. Why call Chicago PD? Because we have 18 hours. Sasha handed her the flash drive. And because your department has been investigating Richard Voss for 6 months. Morrison's expression didn't change, but her fingers tightened on the drive. How do you know that? Because I pay attention. Sasha pulled up a news article on her phone. 3 months ago, the Tribune ran a piece about suspicious property transfers in Pilsen. Your name was mentioned as lead investigator. No charges filed yet, which means you're still building the case. That doesn't explain why I should trust Kim Suk-jin. Morrison's eyes locked on him. Your name comes up in organized crime reports twice a month. And yet you've never arrested me. Suk-jin's voice was level. Because I'm careful. Legal. And because most of those reports come from competitors trying to eliminate me. Like your sister? Exactly like my sister. He moved to the desk, pulled up the video of Hannah. Watch. Morrison watched in silence. When Mrs. Chin appeared on screen, bound and terrified, her jaw tightened. When the knife pressed against the elderly woman's throat, she pulled out her phone. I'm calling this in. Then what do you suggest? The meeting tomorrow. 2 p.m. Sasha pointed to the flash drive. That contains evidence of Voss's money laundering. Tax fraud. Enough to arrest him. If you're there. I can't just walk into a private investor meeting. Yes, you can. Suk-jin pulled up another file. I own the building. Too invested. My sister knows exactly how to manipulate me. He turned to Morrison. But she doesn't know about you. And she doesn't know Sasha called you. You want me to go alone? Sasha's voice rose. To face your sister? Who's already killed one person and kidnapped 2 others? No. I want you to go with a detective. Suk-jin pulled out a small device from his desk drawer. And with this? It was a wire. Professional grade. Tiny microphone. You want me to wear a wire into a room full of criminals. I want you to get a confession. His expression was granite. Hannah thinks she's won. She thinks I'm cornered. She'll gloat. Explain everything. And you'll record it all. Morrison studied the wire. This is insane. This is the only play we have. Suk-jin looked at her directly. You want Voss? I'll give you Voss. But I also give you Kim Hannah. Conspiracy to commit murder. Kidnapping. Extortion. Everything you need to put her away for life. And what do you get? My father's empire. Without her interference. He didn't flinch. And the satisfaction of knowing she'll spend the rest of her life in a cell. Morrison was quiet for 10 seconds. If this goes wrong, if anyone dies because of this plan, I'll turn myself in. Suk-jin's voice was steady. You'll have everything. My operations. My connections. He looked at Sasha. Someone who cares more about doing what's right than doing what's easy. Sasha's throat tightened. What if she doesn't confess? What if she just? She will. Suk-jin's certainty was absolute. Because she needs me to know it was her. She needs me to understand that she outsmarted me. Beat me. Destroyed everything I built. His smile was cold. Pride is her weakness. Always has been. Morrison pocketed the flash drive. I need to make some calls. Get approval. Coordinate with my team. You have until 1 p.m. tomorrow. Suk-jin handed her a card. That's my direct line. Any problems, any changes, you call immediately. And if your sister suspects something, then we improvise. He looked at Sasha. We've gotten good at that. Morrison left 20 minutes later. The loft felt smaller without her, the walls pressing in. Sasha sat on the couch, the wire heavy in her palm. I'm terrified. Good. Suk-jin sat beside her. Close, but not touching. Fear keeps you sharp. Keeps you alive. What if I freeze? What if I can't do this? How do you know? Because you're stronger than you think. He finally looked at her. Really looked at her. When I saw that note in my wallet, I didn't take the money. I just want a job. I thought you were desperate. Naive. Someone I could use and discard. And now? Now I think you're the only person in this city who isn't playing a game. His hand moved toward hers. Stopped halfway. You're just trying to survive with your soul intact. So are you. No. His smile was sad. I sold my soul a long time ago. Piece by piece. Deal by deal. Until there was nothing left worth saving. I don't believe that. You should. He stood, moved to the window. What? She'll try to make you doubt me. She'll tell you I'm using you. that this is all manipulation. That once this is over, I'll dispose of you like everyone else. He turned. And she'll be right. The words hit like a slap. What? This world, my world, it destroys everything it touches. You've seen it. Park. His daughter. Mrs. Chin. Everyone close to me becomes a target. His eyes were hollow. After tomorrow, win or lose, you need to disappear. Take the money I give you and run. Don't look back. And if I don't want to run, then you're a fool. But his voice cracked on the last word. Sasha stood. Walked to him. Maybe I am a fool. But I'm a fool who keeps her promises. She held up the wire. I'm going to that meeting. I'm going to get your confession. And then, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Hello, Sasha. Hannah's voice was silk over steel. Did you really think I wouldn't notice you called the police? Ice flooded Sasha's veins. How? I have someone inside Chicago PD, someone who tells me everything. Hannah laughed. Detective Morrison is very thorough. Very by the book. She filed a report the moment she left your location. Sukjin grabbed the phone. Hannah, here's what's going to happen now, little brother. Her voice turned vicious. Mrs. Chin just became collateral damage. And Park's daughter? She has 12 hours before I sell her to the highest bidder. Human trafficking pays very well these days. Don't. Unless. Hannah paused. You bring me Sasha Brennan. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. You hand her over personally, sign those properties to Voss, and I'll let the others go. Sukjin's face went white. She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this. She's the only piece I didn't see coming. The only variable I can't control. Another pause. So I'm removing her from the board. Permanently. The line went dead. Sasha stared at Sukjin. She wants you to trade me. For Mrs. Chin and Park's daughter. I won't. You have to. No. His voice was absolute. I won't sacrifice you to save them. I won't. It's not your choice. Sasha's hands stopped shaking. Her voice steadied. It's mine. And I'm going. The investor meeting was held in a converted warehouse in River North. Exposed beams, polished concrete, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. 20 investors sat in leather chairs arranged in a semicircle. Richard Voss stood at a podium, slides projected behind him showing property maps and profit projections. Hannah sat in the front row. Designer suit. Perfect posture. A smile that never reached her eyes. Sasha walked in at 1:58 p.m. Sukjin beside her. Morrison and 3 plainclothes officers positioned at exits. The wire pressed against Sasha's ribs. Recording everything. You came. Hannah stood, her smile widening. I honestly didn't think you would. Where are they? Sukjin's voice was ice. Mrs. Chin. The girl. Safe. For now. Hannah gestured to 2 chairs. Sit. Let's discuss terms. There are no terms. Sasha moved forward. You're going to release them. Then you're going to turn yourself in. Hannah laughed. Actually laughed. You think you have leverage here? You're the one walking into a trap. The man on the screen said something in Korean. Sharp. Cutting. Final. Hannah collapsed into the chair behind her. He disowned you. Sukjin's voice held no triumph. Just exhaustion. Effective immediately. You have no claim to the family business. No protection. No resources. Where are they? Morrison's handcuffs clicked around Hannah's wrists. Mrs. Chin and the girl. Hannah stared at the floor. Silent. Tell me where they are and I'll recommend leniency. Leniency. Hannah's laugh was broken. There's no leniency for people like us. My brother knows that. Don't you, Sukjin? He didn't answer. Warehouse on 31st Street. Hannah's voice went flat. Industrial District. Unit 7. They're locked in the back office. Unharmed. Morrison radioed her team. Within seconds, confirmation came back, both women found. Alive. Safe. Relief flooded through Sasha so fast her knees almost buckled. Get her out of here. Morrison handed Hannah off to two officers. And get Voss too. The room cleared. Investors fled. Officers took statements. Within 20 minutes, only Sasha, Sukjin, and Morrison remained. The families in Pilsen? Sasha asked. Safe. Voss's development deal is dead. The properties revert to the original owners. Morrison pocketed her notepad. You did good work today, Miss Brennan. I just did what was right. That's what makes it good work. Morrison looked at Sukjin. We'll need your full cooperation. Testimony against your sister. Financial records. Everything. You'll have it. He handed her a business card. My lawyers will contact you tomorrow. Morrison left. Sasha and Sukjin stood in the empty warehouse, sunlight streaming through the windows, dust motes dancing in the air. It's over, Sasha said. Almost. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. This is for you. $50,000. Enough to start over. New city. New life. New name if you want it. I don't want to run. You should. His eyes met hers. My sister is in prison, but the people she worked with aren't. The Volkovs. Voss's investors. They'll come looking for revenge. And they'll start with you. Then I'll deal with them. Sasha. I returned your wallet because I needed a job. Not because I wanted to disappear. She pushed the envelope back. I want the job you promised. The real one. Working for you. Helping people like those families in Pilsen. You don't know what you're asking. Yes, I do. Her voice was certain. I'm asking to stay. To fight. To make a difference in a world that's broken and wrong and dangerous. She stepped closer. With someone who understands what that costs. Sukjin stared at her. 5 seconds. 10. You're insane. Probably. She smiled. But you need someone insane enough to challenge you. To question you. To make sure you don't lose yourself completely in this world. And you think you can do that? I think I just proved I can. His hand lifted. Hesitated. Then gently touched her face. You're either going to save me or destroy me. Maybe both. He almost smiled. When do you start? I already did. She pulled out her phone. Showed him a text from Detective Morrison. Community center needs a new director. Interested? You want to run a community center? I want to help people. Really help them. Not with money or threats or manipulation. Her eyes held his. But with honesty. Support. A chance to survive with their souls intact. That's not how my world works. Then maybe it's time your world changed. The silence stretched. Outside, the city hummed. Cars honked. People lived. The world kept turning. There's one condition, Sukjin finally said. What? You stay close. I protect you. No arguments. I can take care of myself. I know. His thumb brushed her cheek. But let me try anyway. Sasha's breath caught. Why? Because you returned a wallet with $8,000 inside and asked for a job instead. His voice dropped lower. And because when my sister demanded your life, you walked into that meeting anyway. His eyes searched hers. That kind of courage is rare. I'm not letting it get destroyed. What if I'm already changing you? Then I hope you don't stop. He leaned closer. Their foreheads touched. Just barely. Just enough. This won't be easy, he whispered. Nothing worth doing is. His phone buzzed. He pulled back, glanced at it. His expression shifted concern, calculation, something darker. What is it? My father wants to see us. Both of us. In Seoul. He looked at her. Tomorrow. Why? Because he's dying. And because he wants to meet the woman who took down his daughter and saved his son's empire. Sukjin pocketed his phone. He wants to know if you're worthy of what comes next. What comes next? Everything. His eyes held hers. My father's stepping down. 6 months earlier than planned. He's giving me full control. A pause. But he has conditions. What conditions? Sukjin's jaw tightened. He wants me married. To someone he approves. Someone strong enough to stand beside me. His hand found hers. Someone who won't run when things get dangerous. Sasha's heart stopped. Are you? I'm not proposing. Not yet. His thumb traced her knuckles. But my father is traditional. Conservative. If you come to Seoul with me, if you meet him, he'll assume we're together. that this is serious. Is it? The Volkovs. You said they left Chicago. They did. But they're coming back. He pulled up another message on his own phone. This one from his father. In Korean. My father just sent me intelligence. Dimitri's brothers are planning something. A coordinated strike against my remaining operations. His eyes met hers. They're coming for everyone I care about. When? Soon. He looked out the window at the city below. Maybe days. Maybe hours. Then we stop them. We can't stop them alone. He turned back to her. But in Seoul, with my father's resources, with his connections, we might have a chance. So we go to Seoul. We go to Seoul. He held out his hand. Together. Sasha took it. His grip was warm. Strong. Certain. Together, she said. Outside, the sun began to set over Chicago. The city glowed gold and orange, beautiful and dangerous, full of possibility and threat. And somewhere in the shadows, enemies gathered. But for the first time since finding that wallet, since writing that note, since stepping into Sukjin's world, Sasha wasn't afraid. She was ready.